What's up, my fellow legendaries? This is Raikou here, and I am here today with my Week 8 CPL match against the head of the Seattle Steelixs, CaptainBravo. For those of you who do not know, CaptainBravo is the second owner of the Seattle Steelixs. The first owner had to quit. I believe his name is Zoran. I think I butchered that pronunciation, just like every other pronunciation I do in these videos. But yeah, anyway, he has really turned his series around. Pretty much already did him a favor and made his record based on when he joined. So I think he's like 2-2 going into this. Don't quote me on that. And I'm 6-1 coming off technical defeat. Me being bad, sort of. And I decided I wanted to build a bit of a more standard team. Going into this match, the only thing that concerned me at all on his entire team in any part of his draft was his Scrafty. I had nothing for Scrafty. His Scrafty ended up only having 3 moves, which sadly, if I would have known that, I would have been able to play better and probably would have been able to win this match. You know, at least easier for me, like. But anyway, let's continue on with this match. I decided I wanted to lead straight off my Darmanitan. It's a Scarfed Darmanitan. I know it 2-shots his Mega Venusaur, which is pretty much what I want to eliminate. Pretty much the whole reason I brought it was to take care of Mega Venusaur. I was expecting him to lead off with his Raikou for Volt Switching. I was pretty sure he wasn't going to be running Scarfed Raikou, so I could easily just Volt Switch around. I mean, U-turn around, yeah, because, again, I'm Scarf U-turn, so obviously I shouldn't have any problem at all. He decides to switch out first turn because I guess he predicts me being Scarfed and knows that, I don't know, that was weird because I thought he would stay in. I would go for a U-turn switch out and he would Volt Switch out. I guess he didn't want to run into my Excadrill, so I just go for a U-turn on this Gastro, go straight into my Rotom because Rotom is a great pivot. There's no way in hell he'll stay in here. He's not going to want to take a Leaf Storm or a Trick, so he's most likely going directly into his Mega Venusaur here. I decided I just want to Volt Switch for Switch Initiative. I'm running Signal Beam, but Signal Beam isn't going to OHKO Mega Venusaur. Heck, I don't even think it'll 5-hit KO Mega Venusaur. Actually probably will, judging by that. By that Volt Switch damage I saw there, I was 90% sure I could OHKO him with a Flare Blitz from a Darmanitan. I'm adamant Scarf, so I didn't know if it would quite kill. I'm not banned. As if you listen to Bravo's end of the battle, he thought I was a choice banned Darmanitan. I don't know what calc he was running, but there's no way that. I'm pretty darn sure that he's an offensive Venusaur based on the Volt Switch damage, which means I can just fire off a Flare Blitz. I expect he expected me to switch into Rotom Mo, predicting him to switch into his Gastro to take a Flare Blitz. I decided I've been playing too well, been switching too much, pretty much just pivoting. It's time to just go for an offensive move. I thought he wasn't going to predict it, and I was correct. I didn't think he was going to expect me to go for a Flare Blitz here, especially this early in the battle. But I decided it's time to stop messing around and time to get down to business and actually take a kill. So I go for the Flare Blitz again, because I was pretty sure he wasn't going to expect it. Now he goes into Gastro. Now, this is a great situation for me. I can get at my Sand, which is what I'm going to do, which is great because I need Sand up or I lose to Scrafty. It's just that simple. If he's running Dragon Dance Scrafty, I lose to it if I don't have Sand up. If he's running a Bulk Up Scrafty, I have to go into my Statland before he goes for a Bulk Up. And as you'll see later, the fact that he only has 3 moves on Scrafty ends up hurting me extremely, as in unbelievably. Like, I'll get to it in a minute. But anyway, he is for Toxic. I pretty much assumed that. I wanted to switch into I expected a Water move. I wanted to switch into Mantine to take the Water move. Show him I'm not afraid to go into this thing. Possibly Defog, but he has no hazards up right now. So I'm probably just going to exchange Toxics on him. That's pretty much what my intent is. And that's exactly what ends up happening. We trade Toxic, which is great for me because Gastrodon, if Gastrodon dies, Darmanitan wins because it easily outspeeds Dragonite. Another important interpretation, if you watched Bravo's side of the battle, or if you've talked to Aurabomb at all, my Excadrill is not max speed, which I'll get into. There was no reason for me to bring max speed because he didn't have weather. I did not expect for some of these events to happen. Again, I'll trade some Toxics, and then I should stay in here and go for Toxic, expecting him to switch into his Raikou, which would be the intelligent play. But here I go in the Rotom Mow because I don't want to risk him. I don't know what his other move is at this point. Like, he could be running almost anything on that. Like, I would not be surprised if he had Sledge Bomb, predicting my switch into Rotom Mow, which is probably why I should have Toxic'd him again. At that point, I really didn't care that much about keeping Mantine alive because it was pretty much there to get a Toxic on his wall, on any wall he brings, aside from Mega Venusaur, of course. Yeah, so now it's not as big of a concern. It pretty much dies to Raikou. He's gonna Volt Switch, obviously. I know this for a fact. I decide I'm gonna go for a Trick because I did not know what he was going into. If he went into his Dragonite outspeeds my Rotom spread because I'm running a defensive spread. If he went into his Raikou, like if his Raikou stayed in and went for HP Ice, I could trick him, make sure he was choice locked into a move, and then go from there. He was actually Assault Vest, which would have been really nice on my Rotom, honestly. If he went into his Scrafty with Ice Punch, he could D-Dance Ice Punch something, so it's good if I trick him an item. The better... You might argue that the better play would have been just to go straight for the Leaf Storm predicting this. I thought that was very risky. I do not want the Dragon... I do not know what set his D-Knight is. Going into this game, I expected a Roost D-Knight, like a D-Dance Roost Dragonite. And if he gets up a Dragon Dance, this match can get very concerning for me. Pretty much I don't like setup at all. I enjoy setting up myself, but I can easily lose the setup. And that's pretty much the only way I saw that I would have a chance of losing, unless he was running like a Choice Banded Dragonite. Anyway, he goes into his Raikou. Apparently, this is a not max special attack Rotom. That is an Assault Vest Raikou. Apparently. That does not look like Assault Vest Raikou damage. I don't know about you guys, but... So I have no idea if that's an Assault Vest Raikou or not at this point. Yeah, I'm not even max special attack, and that did that much. I don't have my choice specs anymore. So at this point I was like, well, I'm going to stay in and go for a Volt Switch. I don't care what he does. I know I thought he might Volt Switch again and do his Gastrodon, but now I was like, it's time to just Volt Switch. I don't care if he goes into Gastrodon. He just takes more, toxic damage and gives me a better chance of winning. If he does that, I can go straight into my Excadrill in the sand and click an Earthquake and kill something. He decides to go into his Dragonite. Now, this gives me some good knowledge, because I go for Stealth Rock, because I expected him to switch into something. I wasn't sure exactly what. The way he brought this Dragonite in tells me it's his way to deal with my Excadrill. This will come into play a lot later in the game, but me knowing that this is his switch into Dragonite gives me many opportunities where I can click Rock Slide, and if I hit a Rock Slide on this, and break it after he breaks his multi-scale, I essentially win. I do not see leftovers, because Sandstorm decides here, which is another awful issue. If the Sandstorm had not subsided here, I would know he is a Choice Banded Dragonite, or a Choice Scarf Dragonite, or a Weakness Policy Dragonite. I would know for a fact he was not defensive Roost Dragonite with leftovers. Because the Sandstorm would break his multi-scale for one, and then we wouldn't see leftover. I would see leftovers here, and if he didn't have leftovers, I would know for a fact he's not leftovers, and he would be a more offensive variant. But we do not see that he does not have leftovers because the Sandstorm ends here. I go directly into my Tyranitar. My Tyranitar is an interesting set. Why is Tyranitar not coming out? Okay, there we go. Tyranitar has hit the field. My Tyranitar is running, Rock Slide or Stone Edge. I don't remember which I decided on going into this game. Probably Rock Slide because I don't like missing. Coverage move. Might have even been Stealth Rocks. No, it was Roar. It was Roar to get rid of any setup, because setup's an issue for this team that I built. And Pursuit Crunch, Dual Dragon Stab. That was mainly for his threats such as Gardevoir and his Chandelure, which I absolutely expected him to bring. I thought that there was no way in heck he would bring D-Knight. I greatly overlooked D-Knight when team building, because I just glanced at him and I was like, oh, something that loses to Porygon Z, that's not coming, and just completely wrote it off. That was a poor decision, because why is it not resuming? Okay, there we go. That was a poor decision, because now I take an Outrage I expected would 2-hit KO me, which I expected to be able to pivot out of this back into something like Excadrill. But instead, that almost killed my physical wall. Why is this not continuing? Hang on. Alright, so we're back. Now, here's when you saw my issue. Google Chrome no longer works for me, which essentially means that I have to do everything in Internet Explorer, which is the most anti-user-friendly, like, search menu. Search, I guess you'd call it like a search engine, but it's like incredibly laggy, and I can't even run this properly while I have Camtasia recording. So hopefully this goes without a hitch from here on out. Yeah, so I lose my Tyranitar. Worst case scenario occurs is I have to sack Tyranitar and burn 2 turns of sand. Now that's pretty awful. Like, from any sense of the word, that is awful. I can't switch because Choice Banded Dragonite is Choice Banded. I have to sack this before I go into something else. I go into Cullen for President, the Lord and Savior of all Stoutlands. Now, I could click one of many moves here. I could end up clicking Superpower, or Fire Fang, or Return. No, I believe I'm running Wild Charge, so I'm running Superpower. I can click Superpower, Return, or Play Rough here. I chose to click Play Rough because Dragonite is a threat, and if he doesn't hit himself in confusion, if he stays in, he wins, if I don't click Play Rough. So I'm forced to go, in my opinion, I'm forced to go for this Play Rough. It does nothing, which tells me this is a defensive Mawile. I only know of one defensive Mawile set, so this will lead into one of my, in my opinion, one of my very few misplays this match. Will be, like, if I were to redo this battle, I would have only changed 1 or 2 of my plays the entire battle, which we'll get to in a minute. But I felt, based on the damage that did, he is a Baton Pass Mawile. That'll factor in a little later. Alright, so I have to switch here because I'm Choice Banded, and I didn't run Life Orb like an idiot. I should have ran Life Orb, but I was like, I wanted to make sure that a Choice Banded Play Rough would kill a +2 Scrafty after Sandstorm damage. And it does, but only if I run a Choice Banded Stoutland. So here he gets up Rocks. Interesting scenario. I don't really care about Rocks. I don't have a Spinner, I have a Defogger. And I want Rocks up on his side to at least break his multi-scale. Which I think, actually no, it's broken because he was in Withstand, I believe. Let me actually double check that. Is his multi-scale broken yet? Well, it won't let you check. Well, we'll see when it brings back in. But I just click Earthquake. Here, I thought he might go into Dragonite, but I wanted Mawile dead. I didn't want him baton passing a Swords Dance to anything. Especially not that stupid Scrafty. Yeah, again, Scrafty's an issue. I kill Gastrodon. No big deal. He brings in Mawile here. Now, I have numerous plays. I decide what did I decide here? I decided to click Earthquake. I should not have clicked Earthquake here, because I have seen that in his opinion, his best switch in to my Excadrill is his Dragonite. He has done it multiple times. He's gone from one Mon into his Dragonite as a counter for his Excadrill. I should have clicked Rock Slide here, or at least switched. Now, he's whittling down his Dragonite, which is good because Dragonite needs to die if I have any chance of winning, obviously, but here he clicks Fire Punch. Looking at my team, I don't know why he clicked Fire Punch here. Yeah. But whatever. Sandstorm ends here. So why is it lagging so much? Like, is it gonna lag again? Let me click fast and see if it... This is, like, unbelievable. Like, I've never had so many issues with, Showdown's replayer. Alright, so, I think it's recording now. Yeah, it looks like it's recording my audio. So here involves my first of the 2 misplays. I'm sorry, if there was an awkward cutout, this is me actually finally getting Chrome to open because I was sick and tired of how slow this game was running on Internet Explorer. Alright, so here, I should, in my opinion, the optimum play would have been either to Scald or to Defog. Sure, I can get rocks up, he can get rocks up, such and such, but I need my Darmanitan at close to full, pretty much, because I need it to deal with the Mawile. I need, pretty much, to win this game, I need Darmanitan plus Excadrill and no rocks. It would be nice to have rocks on his side of the field for that pesky Dragonite, but they're not absolutely necessary. Instead, I go for a Toxic. In hindsight, it was a poor play, but I probably should have switched here, but I viewed, he's been over-predicting a lot. He's been predicting pretty much me to switch constantly. So I thought, this is the most obvious switch into my Rotom humanly possible. There was no way he's clicking Thunderbolt here, and he gets me, and he does click Thunderbolt here, which threw me off. I probably just should have switched, but, yeah, there was really no reason for me to sack Mantine there. A bit of a misplay, I guess. Now, I go into Stoutland, because if he went into his Scrafty on this turn, and I didn't go into Colin, okay, interesting note about Colin. In Sand, Colin outspeeds Scarfed Virizion, which is what I needed Play Rough for, on top of what he has on his team. Without Sand up, I'm running enough speed on Stoutland to outspeed, max speed, Scrafty, which happens to be the exact same point, which is pretty amazing. It's very rarely do you have 2 numbers that are exactly the same that you need to obtain in order to win any battle ever. Now, I went into Collins thinking he would go into Scrafty. He would go into Scrafty, basically using his only opportunity to set up and win, and I needed Colin versus him, or I pretty much lost. I click, Play Rough here again, because, yeah, I probably shouldn't have clicked Play Rough here, of all times. But I thought, he's gonna outspeed me and kill me with his Dragonite. That'll be fine. He'll click Outrage, kill me, and I can revenge kill him with Darmanitan. He does not do such a thing, and he switches into Mawile. So now I look like an idiot clicking Play Rough. I probably should have just clicked Super Power just because. Now, here, he hits me with a Play Rough as I switch. Again, probably shouldn't have switched. And I go for Rock Slide here. Now, the reason I go for Rock Slide here, there was no reason for me to go with Rock Slide here for a different reason than what everyone's been telling me. I should not have gone for Rock Slide here. Every time he switched into his Dragonite, every single time in this situation he has switched into his Dragonite, predicting an Earthquake. If I were in Captain Bravo's position right here, and he had the set I expected him to have with Mawile, a Baton Pass set based on his defensive spread, I would have Earthquaked, he would have either lived with Mawile, Baton Passed into his Dragonite, which outspeeds me, and won, or ate the Rock Slide like he did, Baton Passed in Dragonite and won. Now, since I'm not max speed Excadrill, I had to hope that A, he is not Baton Pass Mawile, which he's not Baton Pass Mawile, and B, that I predict him to go into Dragonite at some point in order to win this battle. If he does not go into Dragonite at any situation, if he goes into Dragonite and I don't hit it with a move, I lose. Because I don't outspeed with Excadrill. And he can click Fire Punch and win, or click Outrage if he really wants to and win. Especially considering that he expected me to have a Choice Banded Darmanitan, which I do not. So I shouldn't have gone for Rock Slide because I thought he was Baton Pass at the time. Not because I needed to predict him to switch. I mean, in my opinion, I made the correct play in that situation based on the knowledge I now have. But at that time, I should have just clicked Earthquake because I thought he would have Baton Pass. And even though he didn't actually, if that makes any sense at all, I don't know if that makes any sense. Especially because he didn't have Baton Pass. So I'm sort of talking about two different scenarios that, one, I expected him to have, and probably should have just clicked Earthquake because he was going to Baton Pass out. Or, like, the knowledge I have now. In the situation I am in now, I would 100% click Rock Slide every time. Anyway, he goes into Scrafty. Now, this is his, in my opinion, his opportunity to sit up with Scrafty and win. Clicks Bulk Up, and then he clicks a move, and then wins, except for Call It. Another interesting thing to present at this situation is Extreme Speed from Dragonite does not kill Stoutland at full HP. I have to go in here because I expected him to go for a Bulk Up. Either if he had 4 moves, I am 100% confident he would have clicked Bulk Up. But he did not have Bulk Up, so therefore he clicked his Drain Punch. So, in this situation, I'm willing to believe the fact that he only had 3 moves won him the battle. If he clicked Bulk Up here, he would be +1, Colin's Choice Banded Play Rough, easily OHKOs at that percent, even at 100%, even if he's +1. I know that for a fact, I've run multiple calcs. Him clicking Drain Punch here means I lose the battle. In my opinion, because I outspeed, obviously, as I've said, I outspeed him Play Rough kills. I outspeed him by 1 EV in speed. Now he goes into Dragonite, and because he had 3 moves on his Scrafty, I over-predicted him to switch into his Dragonite instead of just sacking his Mawile. I thought he would have preserved his Mawile, done something along the lines of gone into Mawile, intimidated, sacked Scrafty, gone into Mawile, intimidated, and then set up an SD Baton Pass into his Dragonite and clicked Outrage and won. Of course, he didn't know for a fact that I was running not max speed Excadrill, which is another reason why I've made all these poor decisions in this game. Alright, so now he clicks Extreme Speed, and this dies. And if I would have, this is where if I would have actually gone for Defog, would have been the intelligent play here. Or if I would have switched from my Mantine into my Rotom on his Thunderbolt, I would have won. And he sucks. Everything does. Great game to Captain Bravo. If anyone would have said a word to me about you having that there being any chance that you would bring a Choice Banded Dragonite, I would have laughed in their face. Also, if you intentionally brought 3 moves on your Scrafty in order to outplay me that way, you, sir, are a god, and I will support whatever plan you ever have for the future. Also, after this loss, I've dropped to 6-2, which means I'll be lucky if I even make it in the playoffs at this rate. I think I'm currently tied for 4th place. No, I guess I'd be tied for 5th if you're tied with someone. If 2 people are tied for 4th, you technically would be tied for 5th place. Anyway, there was one other thing I wanted to say. Oh yeah, to Bravo, definitely go check out CaptainBravo, but also, if you were wondering why my name was Granbull Spara, because Bravo expressed an interest in why, Granbull, is the reason I got into competitive Pokemon. So that's that part. And Bullspara is the name of a bird from some famous movie. I don't remember what that movie was. One of my best friends on the internet, suggested I make a name with both Granbull and Bullspara. And I've been using this name on Showdown for about a year and a half now. I barely ever play on Showdown, but it's sort of just a fun name when I want to screw around. So I've been pretty much using it for the entire league. I really just don't want to remember another password, is essentially what that is. Again, great game to Bravo, and I will see you guys next week, and I'm going to get us a win. I don't care who I'm playing, but I refuse to lose again. I cannot. I have to make playoffs. I refuse to not make playoffs. So I'll see you guys later. Peace, YouTube.